guys, and welcome to another episode of the Fullygeeked Ladies.
Hi.
And when you watch this, it would have gone, but happy International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day, P and Sharifa, Queen.
Happy International Women's Day.
International Women's Day.
What does International Women's Day mean for you guys, Helena?
To be honest with you, I don't really know. I'm just going with the flow. Do you know what I mean?
Celebrating womanhood, celebrating what we achieve as women, united, not just divided. What we do on our own and what we can do together. That's what I strongly believe it is.
That's nice.
And world peace.
Said it. She's got into it. And
you said it in a
there was this really nice advert that BET did about different, like what International Women's Day means to BET. It was quite nice, I got quite tearful actually.
I might need to watch this. I don't think I've seen it.
Very sure it starts off with Serena Williams shouting at Empire, going, "I've never cheated in my life. I got a daughter that needs to look up to me, blah 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 blah." And then it goes on to other women talking about their life experience.
I'm gonna watch that.
It's quite nice actually to watch. Happy International Women's Day to all the women out there struggling, hustling, doing well, doing not so well. I guess as women, we have peaks and troughs. We have happy times, sad times. We go through so much being women, just struggling because, we want equal rights in terms of, working and pay with our men. Equal rights in general, what we go through as mothers, bearing children, having the children, doing what we need to do with the kids, working couple of jobs. I always go into that stupid American accent that doesn't even work. So, but you know what I mean. But it's nice. I feel honored to be a woman. I love being a woman. I love everything that being a woman entails. And so we just hope that you guys enjoy the day, or just, it's just a normal day really, but embrace your womanhood. We know that society picks these days. I sometimes I feel like as we go on, there's just going to be a day for everything. National Sibling Day. We've got Mother's Day. We've got Father's Day. They're going to have National Siblings Day. They're going to have International Men's Day.
They have a National Siblings Day.
They have
a national what?
They have a National Siblings Day.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, crikey.
The National Everything Day, to be honest.
Basically, just celebrate life. That's what they should say.
Yeah, just celebrate life.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's get into this week's episode.
Ooh, child.
We are talking about, hey, can you see I'm coming to America? Hey, can you see I'm coming to America? Part two. And then we're going to get into the Oprah meets Meghan and Harry interview. But let's start from the beginning. Coming to America, part two, is the sequel to the 1988 movie Coming to America, where I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis. If you have not seen Coming to America, you should go and watch it. But it is literally where Prince Akeem travels to America to meet or to find his beloved, because he needs to get married. In the 1988 movie, it starred Eddie Murphy, James Earl. Eddie Murphy. What did I say?
Is it Eddie Murphy?
It starred Eddie Murphy as Akeem. It starred James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
That's
you.
Oh, thank you.
Bless you, girl. And he was also Mufasa in Lion King, if you don't know. It starred Shari Headley, who is Lisa, who becomes Akeem's wife. Arsenio, I can never pronounce his name. Arsenio Hall, who is Semi.
Pardon?
Arsenio Hall. Why are you calling me out today? Arsenio Hall. And then
Felina.
She's on one today, right?
I'm gonna keep quiet.
And then it also starred John Amos, who was Cleo. So they were the original cast members of the first show, and they also feature in the sequel Coming to America, with a host of other people. I'm just going to name some of you because there was a lot. We have Leslie Jones, who is the lady from Ghostbusters, the black lady from Ghostbusters, and she was Laval's mother. We've got Wesley Snipes. I mean, we'll get into it. He was General Izzy. We had Tiana Taylor and Rotimi, who were Wesley Snipes' children. We had Jeremiah Fowler, who played Laval. We had a plethora of just black actors and actresses. We had Tracy Morgan, who's a comedian. We had Davido from Nigeria. I mean, really. We had Rick Ross. We had Michael Blackson as well, another comedian. The girls that played the daughters in the sequel, we had Kiki Lane, who was Mika. We had, and I'm apologies about pronouncing this wrong, but it's Nomanzo Batha, who was Marimba. And then we had Akili Love, who was Princess Tanashi, or Tanisha, I can't remember.
Tanashi.
Girl. We also had, I'm just going to run through everybody because I ain't got time for trying to talk about who was there and who wasn't. Morgan Freeman, Salt and Pepper, and we had En Vogue, okay?
So random.
Right. So that was a lot of, so the introductions of who starred in the movie, we've done. If you've seen the first movie, you would have known that Eddie Murphy is also the 4 guys in the barbershop, and they also are reprised in Coming to America Part 2, and so is the Reverend, and so is Randy Watson, who is Sexual Chocolate, the musician. Now, Coming to America Part 2 is literally about who's going to take over the throne when Prince Hakeem, who is now a king, passes away in the very near future. He doesn't have a son, he's got 3 daughters, and typically it's a male heir that's meant to sit on the throne. So without giving too much away, and then we're going to get into it, he needs to find his way basically as a king, and he needs to try and change traditions and potentially find a male heir to the throne. Guys, one of you take over. Who wants to talk about the...
Let me just get a little closer.
Yeah, I guess Sharif is ready.
What can I say about this? To be honest, looking at the storyline generally, I actually liked what it was trying to portray, in the sense that, yes, some cultures are still going by the old ways of it has to be a male son. And it just showed the journey of Hakeem realizing that it doesn't have to be a son. You know, it can be a daughter. So in aid of Women's International Day, I appreciate the message, but the storyline was still lacking. And I felt like they were just overdoing certain things. There was certain comical stuff that I was just like, there was no need to do that. Beginning bit, having the woman barking. I was like, really? We when she did it in part 1, that was funny. No, but when she did it in part 2, I was just like, come on. She looked like a stray dog off the road. I was like,
that has always been a question for me. Is she still jumping? Because he never told her to stop. So I was always I appreciated that.
That was just a bit, that was just too much.
No, come on, but
that was too much. I did appreciate, if we talk about acting, I did appreciate Wesley Snipes. I really did. He for me, he was the funniest. He actually was the funniest. Only because it was just so random. It was so random. And even if you think about the African accent he was putting on, he actually sounded more African than quite a lot of them, except for Marimbe. He actually sounded quite African. So I appreciate that. Like, he was just random. Like, it was funny in a weird way for me, him. The rest, even Tiana Taylor, I was just like, you look good, but
her accent wasn't too bad. It wasn't terrible.
Anyone could have done what she just did.
Of course.
I will stand here for you, my king.
Do you know
whatever you want, my king. How are you, my king? Like, I do like her accent, to be honest.
I think what annoyed me the most was the representation of Africa, because obviously you guys know I'm a student nurse, I'm on placement, and I had a woman saying to me, oh, but I thought you'd be used to that with all them lions and tigers and bears. So now someone who's watching the show...
It's not funny, but...
No, it's funny, but it's not funny. But to see the representation of Africa as lions and we're just running around, roaming around with elephants and lions, that bugs me so much. And obviously that's still in the American narrative, so that's all they know too. But it just bugs me. That's probably the only thing that annoyed me the most about the show, the film even. But I feel like they made it too comical. Like the first one was just timeless. It was timeless. The acting, like it was just, it flowed, it was smooth. This one was just like, let's make light and let's make banter about the film. So for me, I didn't like it. I just was like,
Did you guys not feel
it was so random?
Did you guys not feel like it was one of those spin-offs? You know, like
parody.
I know this, like a parody felt like that to me. It didn't feel like a part two.
But Tyler Perry had a hand in writing the scripts, and come on, Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry, did he have a hand in writing the script?
I feel like he did because it was kind of trash. I'm not gonna lie.
No, for Tyler Perry alone, I like it.
Who am I to talk? But I was
Tyler Perry's comedy is good. This was just, it was awful. It was awful.
It was like drama kids got together to write the script.
I said it when we did episode 3 when we had the boys on.
Yeah.
Certain shows you just got to leave alone.
They made a joke of that as well, didn't they?
Yeah, you just got to leave it alone. I mean, nothing for me personally was funny. Wesley Snipes wasn't, like, I get what you mean, Sharifa. Like, yeah, his acting was good, but he wasn't funny.
I chuckled. That's about it.
Nothing was funny. Like, I was just watching this and I was thinking, really? And it was so predictable as well. And I get it. Maybe it's because we're older, and maybe because we've gone through the whole, when we were young, you watch Ghostbusters, and you're like, oh, the ghost is coming. You watch Ghostbusters now, you'd be like, oh my gosh, CGI was so terrible and whatnot.
Even CGI in this was trash.
So, yeah, exactly. Maybe it's because we're older and we noticed a lot of things that we're now like, what's going on? But nothing like, and I get it, it's not meant to be like the first movie. The concept was good. Like, he needed to find his son. He needed to bring a male heir.
Even that's random.
Pardon? Even
that's random, because in the original film, they make it out as if he's going to just find one woman, but then all of a sudden he's had a one night stand and had a kid. Like,
but they planned it well though, because it fit in. We're able to fit that into that story, because they did go back to that to those two people's house, so it was easy for them to just fit that back in.
I didn't like it at all. I was so disappointed with everything. The only thing I wasn't disappointed in is when you talk about the representation of Africa in terms of like the wild animals. I get that, but they got Africa to a T when it came to the outfits. They were clothes from Kenya. There were clothes from Ethiopia. There was clothes from Nigeria. There's clothes from Ghana. Like, every continent, every African country, because Africa is a continent, every African country that they could draw inspiration from, they did that, and they did it well. And if you're not like familiar with like certain fashion senses and stuff like that, then you probably wouldn't know. But like the choir were wearing clothes
from Ethiopia.
And the queen, Lisa, her yellow dress, one of her dresses was also from Ethiopia.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
And it was just so beautiful to see that it wasn't like whoever was managing their costume, they got inspiration from all countries of Africa, not just what they deem like the two powerhouses, Ghana and Nigeria. But that was it. The hairstyles were on point.
That's what I was going to say. The hairstyles, especially of the girls.
The girls' hairstyles. When you talk about Wesley Snipes' cane rows, those cane rows are actually some countries, some African countries do have cane rows like that. Yeah, so that was all on point. Everything else was just, I'm sorry, like, it was trash.
The aesthetic though, it was
horrible, those dreads. And he just came there.
That's what I was about to say. What did you think about Rotimi? He was not necessary.
And he was not necessary. I feel like he's not funny as a character or as a person.
Even his butterscotch thing, it was funny once, twice. Now it's just a bit like, you're creeping me out.
It's just forced.
You're creeping me out.
Funny. And then also, don't you think like they had a lot of like Wakanda-esque vibes? They're trying to go off of the back of that as well, kind of with the whole Wakanda, Black Panther. tiny bit. They'll take inspiration from Black Panther a little bit with the outfits, with everything else as well. That's what I thought.
You would think that because, but then if you look at the original one, the part one, we didn't see that much of when
they didn't know.
Bermuda. No, but even when you first saw the first one, I know it was they had those Western outfits over the top, so you didn't see that many African prints. You didn't see any of that. But during that time and that era, that is how some Africans were dressing. They were into that very satin linen, over the top suits, dresses, headgear. They were into that. But I get what you mean. They will follow that fashion because that is what we interact. We kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Not interacted with, but that's what we
inspiration.
Not inspire. You know, when you're engaging with an audience,
that's what we. America 1, the first one.
No, I'm saying no, because she was saying how they're going off of the back of Black Panther. But what I'm saying is they will go off the back of it, not 100%, but they would go off the back of it because when we watch Black Panther, we really appreciate Black Panther.
Yeah.
So it's still in that type of zone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what they know. If they went hardcore African print galore, like whereas typical Nollywood movie, some people might not watch it. So they can't go off and do a Nollywood clip. They have to make it into something they think we will engage with a bit more.
And I think that these days people are woke. I mean, like you said, you mentioned Black Panther, you look at Beyonce, Black is King, like those films have drawn a lot of African inspiration. So yes, coming to America was about a year or 2 years in the making anyway. So they are going to...
It's that long. Oh dear.
Yeah, but then don't forget, we've had a pandemic. You've got to get from on side and all the rest of it. If you notice, the mum wasn't there, and they didn't.
She died.
She's dead in real life, isn't she?
Years ago. Yeah. She died that time ago.
Fair enough. That's
fair enough. Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Sorry. But that just threw me because like I
didn't know.
I actually didn't know. No. I didn't
know. Yeah. She's.
But I was going to say that she wasn't there. So my point was that maybe that it took time to get some people on board to come back.
Wait, we haven't actually touched on the funeral. What was that?
The thing is, funny enough, this is initially when it first started, I said the same thing. But then I was thinking about some people that are like, no, this is the day they're going to pass, palliative care. They're surrounded by loved ones. For him as a king, that's what he's used to, being surrounded by not just his family, his empire. That makes him happy. That's the way he wants to die. So some people do plan it. Some people actually have their funeral before they actually die.
So Envelope do that. And who else is there?
Gladys Knight.
They the people he wanted at his funeral. Like
that's the thing. That's his music inspiration. No, but I'm saying you don't. But for someone, if you look at everyone's planning of their funeral, you may not understand that person's planning, but that's what they want. Like some people, that's their dream. They want a celebrity. Like you have people that are on palliative care that write to celebrities because they want to see them before they die. Some of them even want them there when they die. So that's what I'm saying. For me, initially, I was like that. I was like, why would you do? But some people would actually love the way he just passed, to have that and have your memory.
I didn't like the fact that, because obviously James Earl Jones is like my uncle. I just feel like I know him, so I didn't like the fact that he was in his deathbed. I was a bit sad by that, but obviously it's just acting. But the fact that you're saying palliative care, that's obviously what I'm doing right now. I'm in hospice. It's interesting because we were learning that exactly today, that a lot of people they write it down so that family members can't argue or contest certain things that they wanted. So I get it, but I just felt like it was so random and a bit out of place.
What was random, a bit out of place? The people that came to the funeral?
No, just the whole concept of
it.
I'm going to have my funeral now. I'm going to die now. And I just felt like,
I did actually mind like his send off. That, like Sharifa said, it didn't bother me. And people will put down what they want to do for their funeral. And I get it, and maybe I'm overthinking it. It's a comedy. We're in this time of people are dying around us and all the rest of it. So maybe I am being a bit too sensitive about it all. But I didn't like the fact that my man was standing up in his coffin.
That's what I was like, huh?
How was he supposed to see people performing? Lying down?
You can sit down. He had died.
Yeah. Why was he in a coffin?
Maybe
even when he died, he didn't even fall. He just Like,
Maybe he wants to feel his
yeah.
feet on the ground one last time. It was all comical. That's the thing.
I get it, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm just not seeing the funny side to it.
It wasn't funny, to be honest.
And yes, son, come closer. I'm gonna die now. And it was all very much Lion King-esque. I mean,
yes, Mufasa.
Yeah, and
Maybe that's why they did it. Eddie Murphy has a weird sense of humor.
Yeah, but that's not what the
It's
first
not
one was about.
The
Was
thing
it?
is, guys, it's not funny, but when you think about it, you chuckle at how stupid it was.
Yes, that's
It's
why it's not
stupid.
funny.
I
But
didn't
it's like,
chuckle. I'm chuckling now, and I get what you mean. But when it's one of those things like you really spent money to go make this movie, ha ha ha. That's what's funny. But when you're actually watching it and you're thinking to yourself, James Earl Jones wanted to reprise his character just so that he could say, yes, Simi, kill him. And you're like, okay. And then I'm going to go now.
yeah, I feel like it really took away from the first one. Like
I don't think it did.
Oh my God, Sharifa.
The reason why I'm saying that is this is the mistake.
This
is the mistake a lot of people make, and I used to make that mistake of, why can't you take part one for what it is and say it's a historical time art, and just take for what it is. Still watch part two, but you should not take anything away from part one.
Did you guys like the Lion King 2 animation? Did anyone talk about the Lion King 2 animation?
It doesn't matter. I still like Lion King 1. It doesn't take anything away from it.
I agree with what Sharifa's saying. Saying in the sense that they're two independent films. Yes, it's Coming to America 1 and Coming to America.
You called it something else then.
No.
Zamunda or something.
It could all be. It can be called the same thing. It doesn't
They
matter.
never even went to America like that.
Pardon?
They didn't even go to America like that, like the first one. So they should just.
I guess the second film wasn't about America. It was about going to America to get his son to bring him back home. So the second film was more about
Coming to Zamunda would have made sense.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe
but it's not coming to Zamunda.
Yeah, but it was basically.
And that would have given it
coming to
a different aspect. But where you've called it Coming to America 2, you'll then give people an impression that it's similar to what the first one is. So if you at least change the title and it's an umbrella of, then I would probably have warmed up to this version of it. But the fact that you're saying it's a continuation after 30 years and this is what you're bringing me, no thanks.
I don't think titles matter. The film was
does.
No, it doesn't. The film was trash. The film was like I love everybody in that movie. I honestly do. If you watch this, please don't hate us, but we're just giving an honest opinion, our honest opinion. It's just that they try to be funny. I guess the only and again, maybe it's because I'm a lot older, and I understand life a lot better. But they still were back. There was lots of sexism in there. There was the racial connotations were like, really, which was a bit deep. And certain things they were a bit uncomfortable to watch now.
And this time and day that we're in, if they did it, they should have corrected. If that makes sense, but they weren't. Not all of them were corrected.
It's just funny.
I get it. It's not funny. Like that joke. Oh, I like my woman dark skin. I need them to be so black that when I'm making love, I need a flashlight.
But that's that humor, though. That's that humor. That's the thing. That's that humor.
It's not funny.
Remember,
it's actually not funny.
It's not funny.
But my thing is, we're moving on with the times. I completely get their old school.
Not in America.
In the barbershop, old school people are gonna, they're set in their ways and all the rest of it. I get all of that. So maybe again, I was having this discussion with my husband, and he was like, "Yeah, but you got to remember, you've got a lot of old people, and the older generation will still use different slang or different words to describe, say, someone of mixed heritage. We call people mixed race or biracial or whatever. Back in the day, they called them something else. Do you understand? So he's probably just those jokes and the way they were talking is probably a reflection of their age. I completely get it, but where people can take offense to that, I think they could have been clever enough to have
take it out. Something else.
Yeah.
Or even correction. Like my thing is, they could say that joke, but someone should have corrected that, like as in the movie. If that makes sense. If you really want to educate people, and I'm with you when you say that, T, because this is sensitive times that we're in, and every little thing. As much as we want to still joke and have fun and watch what we want to watch, you have to be very careful, because Coming to America was a big thing. Not just Black people were watching it, white people were watching it. So everyone of every race have been waiting for this part 2. And when you're saying little things like that, you're making it all right to say things like that. I know sometimes people say, yeah, but we're Black, we can say things like that. But sometimes you have to set by example. You have to set by example. If you're saying jokes like that and people of other races are sitting there laughing at it, it chips away at little things, and they don't realize it chips away that they feel like it's all right to make that type of notion about dark-skinned women, that, oh, they have to be so dark. It could even be in a positive way of, oh, I like my dark-skinned girls, yeah, I do, but it's still not like that negative side of it. As much as the little joke of, yes, I could use a flashlight, it doesn't, as you guys said, it wasn't funny. Like a flashlight to see her, why do you need to, like, there was no need to add
like literally
it wasn't funny.
It was a tumbleweed moment for me. I was like, am I
Even
meant to laugh at that now? Was I meant to chuckle? Was I like, what was I meant to do that joke? Like, honestly, that's the only joke I could potentially think about in the whole movie. Like, I was just, every time I try and sit down and think, what else did I like about the movie? What else was funny? And that's it. I guess the only other thing that I did find funny was the sidewalk that Snipes was doing when he walks, he leans to the side. That was quite fun. Was it funny?
His whole character made me laugh. His whole character made me laugh. I'm not gonna lie. It was just seeing him in that. I'm used to Wesley as Blade. That's how I see him. No matter what the movie he's in, I always just see him as Blade. So for me, seeing him do this, it was fun for me. I actually liked it. I liked him in it. Like, I actually liked him in it.
Did you guys see at the end, before we wrap up, right at the end, they had the statement that's saying that this film helped create 6,000 jobs and this and the other, blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I was thinking, wow, all these people must need money, because I don't know what Rick Ross, aside from the extras,
it was his house. They did it in, isn't it? Rick Ross's house. Yeah, it was his house.
That was Rick Ross's house.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, why he needed to be there. I don't know why.
I wouldn't you. The thing is, I would, if I was of a celebrity status, or I would just want to be an extra, just to be part of it. As much as we're saying it was crap, it was this, it was that.
That he did.
It's still something. Like, as much as we say this, it's still something. Are you telling me if they came to your front door and they're saying we need more representatives of British people to just be in community, would you have turned it down? Honestly, would you have turned it down?
But then, you know what? Probably not. But I don't want I don't, like, let me be an extra. Let me look pretty. I don't need.
He's Rick Ross.
He's Rick Ross.
He doesn't
One
need to.
liner is cool for him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Paulina, exactly. He doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to just, like, ching ching. That's it.
It's the thing is, like, it could have been a childhood dream, not childhood dream, but it could have been a dream for him. It's nothing for him. As much as we think, oh, that was stupid for you to do, for him, he's happy. Like, people are doing a lot of messages.
To see him, I was like, oh, here we go. They're making a joke of it. Let's bring them all in. That's pretty much how I felt at that point.
Stupid. I just found
not stupid. It was just random.
He was just random. Yeah, he was just.
The whole movie was random. So why does it surprise you? The whole movie was random. And Davido running on stage, have an expectation. Singing, I was just not impressed by that one. I knew that they'll have one of them.
I did not have any expectation of this movie, and I knew from day one it was not going to be as good as it. Like, I called it. I don't know, guys. I love most people that were in the movie, but I think they
just don't like the movie.
I think they should stick to what they do best. Some of those people. I did hear that apparently the son, so Jermaine Fowler, who was Lavelle, was supposedly, this is just a rumor, was supposedly meant to be played by Kevin Hart.
Oh, I would have
not watched it. I do like Kevin Hart generally, but I don't. It would have just made it too.
I would have just taken it completely. It would have been a Kevin Hart film with Tyler Perry writing it. That's big. That's no.
It wouldn't have been Coming to America. It would have been, no.
But do you think you would have laughed?
No, I don't find Kevin Hart funny.
Yeah, same. I've seen him live.
Wasn't it? I would have literally had been done, because I'm done with that.
Like, on the scale of funny, when I go to his show, I'm maybe 4 to 5. I laugh. I went to one of his shows and it was certain bits were funny, certain bits weren't. But as a whole, if I was to choose a comedian, he won't be one that I would choose to go and see. No. That's just me. Rock. I find like it's just gone on and on and on and on. He's the same. Like, it's got David Chappelle, yeah.
Or if he was in it,
Dave Chappelle's too serious. His jokes are serious. So like his jokes
are offensive. They are
deep. This.
I'm not sure about Dave Chappelle. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think that maybe I was gonna say Chris Rock. Maybe what's his name? I've forgotten the man's name now. How can I forget his name?
we don't know.
Kevin Hart. I think Kevin Hart would have brought a slightly different take to the film if he was on there. I'm not saying it would have been any better.
He would have taken away from the film if he was in it.
I think it would have added something. I think Chris Rock. I keep saying
Kevin Hart
would have added something to the movie.
I don't think so. I think it would have. I'm with Paulina. I think it would have just been it wouldn't have been coming to America. It would have like Eddie needed to be a bit of the star, even though he wasn't, and he's the only big comedian in there. If that makes sense. So to have Kevin Hart, that's current, to be in there, it would have just been like, okay, it wouldn't have been coming to America for me because Kevin is a natural overactor. So it would have just been, everything would have been comical. And I wouldn't have even felt the relationship between him and Marimba. Can we just say how beautiful Marimba is? And I love the fact that she's so authentically African, even her accent, the South African
loved her accent.
It was just so beautiful. I was just like, yes, at least there was that one main African actor in there. So I appreciated her.
If one second, if what's her name? Laverne, is it Laverne? What's the guy's name?
The guy.
If the mum was played by Tiffany Haddish, and then you had Kevin, can you imagine? That would have just been like parody central. Let's just call it a joke.
I like who played
I get what you mean. Yeah.
But she even too much. Leslie's too much for me all the time.
But she was in the original. That's why they had to use her in there.
She did what?
Wasn't she in the original? The two girls was she not in the original?
Those two were never in the original. They made that.
Why do I feel like that scene just looked like it was
they made up the scene, and even their faces were CGI'd.
So their faces were CGI'd.
Really? I think I took my eyes off the screen, maybe.
I've seen yours look the best out of the two, but Eddie Murphy with the facial expression, I was like, why is this happening?
When she started humping him,
that bit looked wrong. I thought that was done on purpose. I actually thought it was done on purpose.
No.
But yeah, now that you say it,
I mean, that's what they forced the storyline. They were like, what can we do? Let's just throw this in here. It's just like, what?
I think it was very clever that they were able to use what they had from the first film and incorporate it into this film, and it made sense.
Yeah.
But as a whole, the movie was trash.
Can I just my last point? I didn't like another thing that ruined it for me was them using the old jokes in the new one. I'm like, just leave them alone. Like when they were like, oh, do you want to give this all up? Nah. And then the other ones, so they made another
about that.
Even the old man with the joke at the end. I'm just like, I was done.
Anyway, it was trash.
It was trash. We loved everybody that was in the movie, but the movie itself,
trash.
Nah, it's going in the bin.
What would you rate it?
Nothing.
1 out of 10.
Nothing.
She said nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, moving on.
Oh, you nothing. Ooh, oh, nothing at all. Do you guys know that 80s song? I'm showing my age.
No.
And now. You guys are so young, and I'm so old. But
listen, I know a lot of age. I go back to
my genes. So
you're the age that your age. I forget, but you would never know, honey. You keep working.
I know, right? Anyway,
you guys are acting like you're 50 years old. Calm down.
No, shame.
The way you're talking, you're saying like you're 50 years old.
It's like 10 years between me and T. So even her singing that song, it's like
you not know that song though, babe.
I know the song.
I wasn't born.
No, but the funny thing is, you say that, but you can know songs way past. I know songs past.
No, I do. I listen to Nat King Cole. That's the type of music.
It doesn't have to be your age.
I could have known that song. Yeah.
Moving on. We have got the hot topic. We've got something serious and something that I was dying to watch, and I actually enjoyed watching, which was the Oprah and Oprah meets Meghan and Harry, which is their interview with the billionaire Oprah Winfrey, and it's just primarily Meghan discussing her time and her life as a royal. She is later joined by her husband, and also he's discussing, his time growing up as a royal and what they're going to do now that they are officially no longer royals. Yeah, it was quite deep.
You will
wasn't it?
never be royal. Sorry, that just needed to come in.
Honestly, I
Paulina,
can't.
go ahead, take it away.
The topics of race will always be one that just bugs, that it just affects me, and I'm tired. It's just so exhausting. But I really, really just, I'm a bit lost for words, because regardless of what she came out to say, she is still going to be made to be someone that she's not. She's physically saying, this is my experience, and you're coming to argue to say that's not your experience. You must be lying. Why? Back in the day in history, people like in the royal family or royalty, you would just be killed or you'd be dismissed or whatever. You wouldn't be able to speak on your experience. We are now in the 21st century where that is accessible. She's not even like,
Even that was a struggle.
yeah, like you're questioning me telling you how you've made me feel, and then you've got the audacity to be like, oh, but you don't have a right to feel like that because you were part of the royal family, so you know what you signed up for. She fell in love with someone because at the end of the day, fundamentally, we are all human beings. That's where it begins and ends. But because of titles, it becomes a thing of like, it becomes something bigger than it needs to be. Princess Diana was a perfect example of what the royal family are about, but that doesn't want to be talked about. There's just so many undertones. I've watched so many interviews where like it's awkward when the race is always going to be the baseline of it, and then you've got white people who are just like, oh, here we go talking about race. Oh,
it's not about the color.
Queen's husband in hospital. What has that got to, like? It's just so like all over the shop. If we just take time to look at the actual bigger picture, you will see it's a man and a woman who've fallen in love, and they just want to live life. What is wrong with that? Why, just because I'm married to someone, do I have to put my lifeline on the line just to please people who don't care about me in the first place? It just drives me mad. I cannot imagine what she's going.
The thing is, what people put forward is that this is what she signed up for. This is the job that she signed up for. So she just needs to suck it up. That's what quite a few of the British public are saying about her marrying Harry. My issues with that is you apply for a job, you get a job, you don't like the job, you leave. Well, most people leave, right? Why is it that she signed up for this job that she wasn't prepared for? As we saw in the interview, she was never prepared for it. Not like the movies that we see that they all have preps, they all get told how to talk. She was doing all her research. On top of that, she's struggling with the fact that she is, no matter what anyone says when they sit around the table, she is different from everyone sitting around that table. So there's always that at the back of her head thinking, okay, am I supposed to be a certain way? She's not British, she's American. She has all this other history. The media were already chipping away before they even got married. There was already little digs there of, oh, she's a divorcee. Oh, she's this, she's that. So there was all of that already prepping up there. Yes, she was welcomed nicely.
Is it
But it's not just about, it's not, sorry?
Isn't Prince Charles a divorcee? What's the problem?
It's not even just about the being welcomed when she initially got in. What I feel like they're talking about is the support, and you can hear in Harry's voice when he says he's disappointed at his dad, he's disappointed his brother, because they did not support him. And his dad not only did not support him, he is, as he said, his history repeating itself. You did not support my mother. All right, fine, now can you support me as your child? And he did not do that. And his brother, that obviously they grew up, we don't know how they grew up, if they grew up tight or whatnot, but they must have had a really good relationship. And you can hear from his voice, he's disappointed in his brother as well, because all he needs is just you giving that one line of support, which they never did. And as much as Meghan sat there talking about the Queen was very welcoming. The Queen doesn't have as much power as everyone thinks she has. It's a business they're running. It's a firm they're running. These people are controlling the media, but it's not the Queen. We don't know how much influence the Queen has. I'm sure she does have some influence. So yes, she could have come out and supported them in any way possible she could, but she didn't do that as well. So it's to be honest, I was sitting there watching it, and I felt like just wish I could just give Meghan a hug. I don't know in person. I don't know if, as much as we're saying all of this, maybe her personality won't click with me, but as a woman to a woman, as a woman of color, I really felt her pain, because I don't know what I would have done in that situation.
I mean, can you imagine if she was black? Like blackety black, like that.
To be very honest, I don't think that marriage would have happened.
It would never have happened. But could you imagine? She's not even black.
You know what?
She would have been.
She was a little bit black.
I honestly think that people of color that are very highly melanated will not even like for love, like for Harry, like baby,
sorry.
they ain't going to set me, and I'm not trying to have that fight. I don't think
too
they would
much.
do it. It's too much. It's
It's
too much.
Even normal, even other celebrities.
Let's pray one of their kids bring it home. You know, get a.
No, but if you look at even
girl.
other celebrities, look at like someone like Adele. She had to go out of the limelight because she could not handle the tabloids. She could not handle what they were doing to her mental health. Look at Britney. It broke her. It broke her. It caused her losing her children. But yes, she's got them now. But how many years of her life did it lose? And what I really, really take my hat off to is Harry, because he said a comment. I am very happy to be here with my wife. Like, he's being the husband that, you know, well, his mom never got. So that's what I appreciate, because this could have gone really wrong. It could have gone really wrong. And to be honest, I'm just saying this, if it was Will, it would have been a different whole story.
You know, I find it awkward though, which I didn't really appreciate, was when Oprah asked him, like, if you hadn't have met Meghan, would you have left the royal family? So in a way, no, but he wouldn't have. But I know, but it's like, okay, now, because obviously all the tabloids are going to hear is Meghan's the reason why he's
left. His wife. That's his wife and his child.
But he said, and I think that he was honest, and I'm glad you asked that question, because that is, it's true.
He probably wouldn't have.
He didn't leave because of Meghan. Facts. He left because she's his wife, not because she told him to leave,
and his
not
child.
because she is some, you know, juju woman, not because she's the one that wears the trousers. He left because of his wife. His wife said she's going to kill herself. Right. His wife said that she feels like she's going to kill herself. His wife said that she couldn't cope. His wife said that she has, you know, she's left a life of where she could openly have these conversations, openly go where she wants. She said that she hadn't left the house for what?
Months.
A couple of days.
I didn't see her passport. I didn't see
her passport. Why do you need my passport? Like, really? Like, I'm not going to escape. That's prison. That to me just sounded like prison. And so the media, as we saw in that interview and as we've seen, will spin it. Oh yeah, so he didn't leave because of Meghan. The media will only hear.
That's all they hear. Yeah,
that's what I mean. That I wish he didn't say that, because then if
you're an intelligent person, you know understand why he left it. So if you're someone like Piers Morgan, that's going to be sounding off.
Let's not talk about that idiot. Yes,
I know we digress really quickly, but I honestly think that people like Piers actually know the truth, but because
he's an idiot.
Because no, I don't think he's an idiot.
No, on this topic, let me just correct myself. On this topic, on this topic, he is being an idiot. Let
me land. Let me land. Piers Morgan is not an idiot, and I say he's not an idiot because he has built his brand and he's built his money on going against the grain. Yeah. I do not 1 second believe that everything that comes out of his mouth is what he truly believes. It's what makes money. I honestly do. Like, he's an intelligent man. He cannot sit there and honestly think he believes half the things that he's saying.
Really think?
There was an interview where he was arguing with Shola, and he said,
but that makes great TV. So
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you look
going back to what
he looks stupid by what he's doing.
This is going
he's
back.
making money by doing that, and
because he stands up for things when it's right.
Yeah, but
so he is standing up for what he believes in this scenario.
I'm half and half. But
I honestly think that he is intelligent enough to understand when a man is trying to look after his wife and he's saying, I'm going to leave because of my wife. I do not think Piers Morgan, being who he is not intelligent enough to understand that.
It's not about intelligence, though.
No, but what I'm saying, about the things he's saying, all I'm saying is, whatever he said, when he had that interview with Shola, he was chatting crap. But I'm looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, does he actually believe half the things he's saying?
He does.
I don't.
The reason why,
he was so.
The reason why, but he is very British. He does believe in the Queen. Everything he's saying, I believe anyway. That I feel Piers, he believes his own crap.
He does.
He so highly strong. He watches and smells it. That's what I believe he does, because
I honestly think he does things. I honestly think.
No,
I think there's
in this scenario, he has hated Meghan Markle from the beginning, so he's loving all of this.
True, but
he's hated her from the time she didn't DM him back, bro.
Literally. he's just got a sneak up.
I honestly the same people believe that this, even with people like what's her that that witch with the blonde hair. The other
Katie,
one.
Katie Hopkins.
Even her, half the
Katie
things that
Hopkins?
come out of
Yeah.
her mouth, I honestly believe that she has built her brand on being stupid, because I think she is stupid, but she's built her brand on being stupid and saying things, nonsensical things, that she needs to keep on going. So there's no way out for her. I don't believe half the things that she says she actually deep down herself believes. I
believe
it.
That's
See,
her.
there are people like this.
Did you watch The Apprentice?
I'm not
Did
saying
you watch The Apprentice, for where she built her whole personality from, and then she's just been fueled like, oh, she's built this character.
That's what I'm saying. It's the character.
No, but that's her. Come on, you can't be saying things for the sake of saying things.
People say the things for the sake of saying it all the time because that's
No.
what
For certain people, I disagree. For certain people, I disagree.
Piers Morgan spoke trash. Shola corrected him. Big up Shola. People do things for the sake of doing things because that's what's going to get the ratings. That's what's going to get TV shows, whatever. I'm not agreeing with what he's saying. I just think that for someone that is that intelligent, and I do believe Piers Morgan has intellect in his head, I do not believe, this is me personally, half the things that he says, half the things that he projects out there, I do not believe that he authentically believes in it 110%. I think some of it is just there for the entertainment. That's all I'm saying. Some of it he might is genuine deep down.
With Piers,
he asks the right questions and he knows when to ask the questions. He knows how to put the questions forward. So in this scenario with this topic, these are his thoughts completely, because he was so passionate about it and he was so defensive of it that he couldn't actually answer any of Shola's questions because he was just like, oh, the Queen's husband's in hospital. What's that got to do with anything?
His thing was, in that interview, the only thing I didn't like about it, and I'm wholeheartedly with Shola, was that the narrative after this won't be that Piers Morgan chatted crap. It will be that Shola sounded like an angry black woman screaming at him. That's what it's going to look like. And that's the only bit that I didn't like. She did lose her cool with him, but who cannot lose their cool with someone like Piers Morgan? When they're telling you you're disgusting. No, you're disgusting. No, you're disgusting. And it's only to
there's an interview with Shola this morning as well, where she was arguing with a lady who was also saying like that Shola was being disrespectful and like basically she shouldn't be saying that all white people this, all black people. I was just like, it's always going to be that narrative. There's no matter how a black person will.
They're not going to hear her message.
They will never hear it because they don't see it. Because even when I said I was at a work placement, and all I said was, I don't see why can't people leave Meghan alone? And people were like, I can't stand her. I was like, but what? Why? What has she done to anyone? What has she actually done to anyone for her to be hated so much?
I heard some people walking past my place. This was last year sometime, I think, when they decided to leave. And I also heard it in the park. And it took everything in me not to say anything because I was with my son. And I was just like, why? Like, I was this close to asking the lady why. Like, just, oh, that Meghan Markle, she was trouble from the start. I'm like, trouble from the start. Watch your mouth.
They just speak like Oprah.
What has she actually done? All she's ever done is just having a bit of color in her. That's it.
Even the color people eat up. Is not that deep for you to even just.
But it doesn't matter.
I know.
The royal blood has been tainted. That's how they see it. Because
but the royal blood is anyway. The bloody Prince Philip is German. Let's come on.
But they don't care about that. It doesn't matter. German is okay.
Prince Andrew,
black is not.
Like,
for them to be sitting around discussing how dark the child will be, we don't want him to have a title. And they always using this excuse of, oh, because you guys are stepping down. That's why it was like a punishment. It was like, but as Megan said, there's loads of other people that are not taking senior roles. They just want to live their normal life because her being in the front view is just too much for her. It's too much. Someone say, I need help. She went to see HR. How do you live in your family home and you go to see HR? My HR is my soaking in the bathtub, mate. That's
also, and the fact that they cut Harry off financially. Why?
But this is what I love, and I'm going to say this because I strongly believe this, that Diana saw what was to come. And I believe that she probably left Harry more than she actually left Will, only because she knew no matter what, Harry will be fine. He's the first son, he'll always be fine. But she could see herself in Harry. Will. Yeah. She could see herself in Harry. She didn't think, oh, this will play out, that he'll marry, but she could see that there's a chance that he may not follow the normal, what they call the normal royal. So I feel like she really left him a lot and just made sure he was secure. That's a mother's love. She could see what was happening. And you can see even in her interview that she was struggling. She was struggling. So I don't know.
I
I'm
think
just happy for them. They got their win.
tabloids, me personally, what I took from it is that the tabloids weren't the problem for Meghan. I think that if the family had just said or put out statements when necessary to say this is not true, this is shut down, there's no rift between them, whatever, she'd be fine. And I honestly believe that they still be royals, because she actually said that she was willing to give herself to the firm, the institution, the royal family, whatever you want to call them. But when she realized, well, actually, you're not like my girl, you lot are saying that I made my girl cry, but she made me cry. Can we just, you don't have to bait it, but just be like, what you've put out there is not true. Meghan did not make anybody cry. You don't, do you know what I mean? You don't have to go out and say what it is. But because they weren't protecting it, and I guess it's weird because from listening to Harry, his family is not, no family is perfect by no means. No family, every family's got their issues, but it just seems to me that the royal family isn't a family. It's like you said, Truth, to a degree. Although the Queen is the matriarch and she is the one that people are meant to listen to, it's almost like she goes somewhere to actually, is this okay? That's how it feels like. It's almost like he can't even speak to his dad. Like his dad is not speaking to him. For what reason? Because he married someone and he now wants to leave. And the thing is, Harry's never going to be king, so live his life. Let him live the life that he
doesn't want it.
Just because there's going to be a royal, and I get it. In the event, God forbid, that something were to happen, like, you know, if this was like a Game of Thrones scenario where like a whole plethora of them got kicked to the side for reasons, yeah, and then it was just left with Harry and Meghan. They probably don't want him. They probably don't want the royal lineage to have any blackness in it. So probably that's why they're concerned. But the reality is, God forbid, nothing's going to happen to anyone. The Queen's going to pass away peacefully. Charles is going to take over if that's what you want.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. The Queen's going to pass peacefully. You're just going to find the light so peacefully, guys.
If Charles wants the throne, Charles will take the throne. If not, he's going to pass it down to Will. Will's got how many other kids? Do you know what I mean? He's got 3.
The thing is, I think it's not just about that. I think it's other forces to play, as she said. There's other politics in the family. There's other people that want the throne. And for them, Archie still being a prince,
that's what I'm saying.
Still in the line. So for them, disqualifying him makes someone else, another cousin, Bethanol, of the third over there.
Eugenie's there. I've forgotten her sister. All I know is Eugenie, and what's Fergie's 2 daughters, Eugenie. And
I'm not a royal family person. I don't know.
Eugenie, they're there. They're Prince Andrew's daughters. They're not going to make the throne. So let's face it. Neither is Archie, unfortunately, and it's not because of anything other than the fact that he's just too far down the line. So like, why are you worrying about it? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's a try.
She's a little bit black. That's the beginning.
I get it. I understand that, but like, put that aside. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's not coming to the throne, so he's no threat. To the point where you're not even going to give him a title. Like,
I get why Meghan was upset, because in a way, indirectly, you're making him feel different from the rest of his.
It's not indirect.
Cousins. Like, growing up like that, it does have a little bit of. It will have an effect on the child, because it'll be like, when I wanted, what is wrong with me? So I can understand why Meghan. It's not about the title. Most parents don't care about the title. It's not the title. It's what it means and what it shows.
You've had it for your first baby, and you want to be acknowledged the same way everybody else acknowledged. The fact that they said they didn't even get the picture when Archie was born, I think that says a lot. Like, they had to do their own announcement when he was born.
They're too scared that he's gonna be black.
Literally,
that's why they didn't want the picture. But it's sad. Especially after having a child, all of us sitting here know where our mindset was at after having our kids. It's such a sensitive time in a woman's life, not just through pregnancy. Like, to push a child, or to any way you brought a child into the world, it's a hard time. So for the media to keep going at it, they're not even acknowledging, you've had your child, you have to do your own announcement. It's a lot. It's a lot for her to have dealt with. And you can see the impact of that further down the line. Whereas this time they were like, look, no, we want to be left alone. We are going to have a baby. We're going to be normal citizens, opening something that will benefit the world, not just be sitting there saying we're royals. Like, I'm so over the royal family, honey.
It was a good interview, because also, like, you you understood what actually happens behind the scenes. Like they actually have media lunches where they invite the media, and I'm sure the Queen is not sitting there talking to the media. I'm sure it's the firm and the people that are there saying, you know, but I've spoken to the Queen, I've spoken to Charles or whoever. And
did you know
this? Or did you know this? Did you know that? And I want to play out like this. It's interesting to see that, because 90% of the time you actually think, well, I mean, if you watch the Kardashians and other programs like that, you realize that they do actually call media to come and follow them at times. But 90% of the time, you do think, oh, the media are just there at the right time, the right place, and they're just doing what they're doing. But actually, certain people are actually being told what to do. And that's really quite sad.
Can I ask a question? With the royal family being in media front view, are they making money? Is the firm making money from them being in the front view? Because I don't understand why.
So
then it makes sense, because I don't understand why it has to be Meghan against Katie. Why there had to be a story? Why there had to be a narrative? Because nothing needed to come out.
Yeah,
nothing needed to come out.
I don't think that was part. I don't think that was something that the royal family planned. I think that's just media. You know, like she said, there's always a good person. There's always a goodie and a baddie. And so
no, but what I'm saying is, how did the story get out about the tears? Because it must have been someone that slipped up at one of those parties and made it look like it was something else, because that didn't need to come out.
My brother used to work at Buckingham Palace in the summer holidays as a steward or whatever. So it could be, you know, you could find someone, you could watch the comings and goings and all the rest of it. You could tell someone, oh, where do you work? How far up are you? Whatnot, this, that, and the other. And it could literally just be, so what did you hear? You know, these people are very conniving in their ways. Reporters, I mean, as much as we watch, when we watch certain programs, some certain things are not so far from the truth. So when you see a reporter that just so happens to be in the pub that
someone has called them to be there,
someone's called them to be there, or, you know, there might be a pub that all the workers go to after they finish their shift or whatever, and they've just gone there and they're just eavesdropped and they've heard, Meghan was crying because Kate did X, Y, Z. But you know
what? They just twisted it. That's not going to be a good storyline.
Yeah, I don't like Meghan. So
I'm going to be surprised if they actually get together and have like these board meetings where they're going to say, today we're going to say this.
So
let's imagine it's literally like a rope around your neck, and you can see it in even the way she looked this time, the way she even talked, the way she was able to compose herself even when she needed to cry. She could tell therapy has helped, being away from them has helped, being surrounded by the friends that she needed to, like, she's literally got into a good place.
She said it. She's
free. Do you know what people said? Like, do you know what people have even still said of this interview? She's an actress. She's an actress acting this role.
You're always going to say that because she is an actress.
I almost feel like,
but she's in the royal family.
No, but I feel like it's good that she's exposed the family, but it's also like pointless because she's not going to win either way. They're not going to all of a sudden turn around and start being negative towards the Queen. That's just never going to happen.
I don't think that was a premise.
That was it was more just her being free.
That's what people think.
Yeah, but you know what? Like we said, she's free now, so I don't think she cares what people think. And she's not in the UK to listen to tabloids. Yes, the tabloids there are tabloids everywhere you go, but I think she's got enough support around her, enough people around her, enough people, Americans love her, that she doesn't care.
They're all rooting for her.
She doesn't care. I can't see her come to the UK anytime soon. And when she does come to the UK, she ain't going to visit the Queen. And if she does go to, let me take.
But she wants to visit. She zooms with the Queen, isn't it? That's what they said.
It's still a relationship with the Queen. It's just
it's more the Queen. It's more of everyone else.
For me, it's the Queen. You can't really disrespect the Queen. So I personally think no matter.
Well, Shola did.
Yeah, but Shola, but
she better be careful, boy.
Her family, and this is still her husband's grandma, and I think and Harry is very close. He said it. This is not the first time I've heard him say he's very close to his grandma. So I honestly believed that whatever she was going to say, she was never going to disrespect the Queen. And I think it would have been 2 steps too far if she did, especially because
Meghan disgustingly disrespects our Queen. So the thing is, do you think the Queen has a lot to play with this? Do you honestly think that
you will never know, to be fair?
But silence is the greatest weapon, though, because her being silent and not silent is.
What's she gonna come out and say? Yeah, I cut off my nephew because.
Does she even speak? Do we ever hear her speak apart from the Queen speak?
I think
speech, and that I feel like is recorded anyway.
She's a massive proctor. Of course, she's not coming off of her. That's not coming off her head.
I said I think it's recorded.
It's
She's
a
just sitting there
speech that
going
was
like
written
that.
out for her to read, that she knows once a year she's got to come out and do it quickly before she has a Christmas dinner. It's just what it is.
I think watching The Crown, the Queen would have consulted with her son.
No, but apparently they weren't happy with the representation.
And I think that she would have also sought counsel from other, not necessarily the Prime Minister, but other people, other powerful people. And then she would have taken the lead from there. And I think Charles, given what Harry said, this is all speculation, so this is not true, guys, but given what Harry said, that in the sense of, oh, you know, he's just only now talking to his dad, I think a lot of those conversations, when it came down to the color of the skin, him being cut off, no security, I think, me personally, that was majority his dad out of spite, and his brother and Kate may have been like, oh, are you?
Who do you think had that conversation with him? That I feel like it was his brother.
I think it's his brother.
I think it was his brother that had that conversation.
I think his brother and his dad.
You could tell his body shifted and said, I don't feel comfortable having that conversation.
It
was his brother and his dad and Camilla. I think they all sat down and it came out.
I think it was actually brother and Kate. And I think Kate, because she's now fully fledged royal, she's big up her chest to be like, oh my gosh, your baby's going to be quite dark. Are you not scared of it? You know,
I don't think Katie would. I think it's more, or it might have just been, they said it was a discussion. It wasn't just one person. So I feel like they were all sitting at the table and she just wasn't there and they had that discussion. So it was between the brother, the wife, Kate and Camilla and the dad. Oh, I said the name.
I don't think the Queen, I don't think the Queen
really even cared, you know. I feel like she's just an old lady that just wants to get on with life. She really just doesn't care anymore. I don't think she does.
The Queen is conniving. I mean, the Crown is some of the Crown is fictional. We all know that, so we can't just watch that and be like, yeah, this is what she did. But some of it is based on history and the truth. Okay. And if you watch The Crown, the Queen, you know, I
haven't seen it yet. Maybe that's why.
Listen, if the Queen and Charles's uncle did not interfere, we wouldn't know Diana. Charles would have married Camilla. Camilla would have been the wife. Maybe these kids would not have the issues that they have right now and life would have gone on. Do you know what I mean? But everybody has to have a hand because like, what's his name? Harry said, they're trapped. Charles, he wanted Camilla from day one.
That's why he didn't
care. From day one. But because they wanted this narrative of you need someone that's going to be a bit quiet and a bit this, he had to marry Diana and put her through hell.
And then she died in the course of all of this.
And put her through hell. Had they just allowed him to marry who he wanted to marry, regardless of the situation, life would have been, you know. And in the end, the white girl died, and then look, he decided to marry what?
And there was no hoo-ha about that. Well, there was a little bit of media stuff, but it was just a bit like, so he's gone back to his first love anyway.
Exactly. Just let people. And this is the thing, you know, we like the people at the top are just full of crap. They're racist. They want to talk about, oh no, we're not racist, but yet you still support the Commonwealth. You still support the enslavement of people to colonize their countries. Do you know what I mean? That is not moving forward.
It's deep in. It's in them. That's why, for me, it's not a big surprise the way they treated Meghan. And I remember on the wedding day, I remember watching it and I was just saying, I hope this girl survives this whole marriage because I did not think it would have been an easy ride at all for her. I just didn't think the media would be involved. I just thought it would be more of the family. But
my only criticism of Meghan is when she sat down and she said that she didn't Google the royal family and she was naive to it all and all the rest of it. And I just thought, for me personally, how typical American of you is that? Yes, you're marrying the man of your life, but everyone knows the royal family. You are going to sit there.
We all would Google our in-laws if we could.
I'm not even going to sit there and just do history. His mum's dead. His mum is the most famous royal of them all. His mum.
I think maybe what she actually meant was she probably knew about the Diana and all that type of stuff, but I think in depth of the royal.
That's what I'm saying. But you're not going to do research.
How did time to read pages and pages of Queen?
But then that will make you think. That will make you think because for me personally, I think it's twofold. I think there's a reason why all of this has happened. You know, like God has decided that this needs to happen now because I think there's a shift later on in life. That's what I believe. But at the same time, had she done the research, she probably would not have married. She'd be like, hell nah, like, I love you, but I can't. I really can't.
Some people will still do it though.
And
Like,
then
love is a drug.
Because of the what's that word? All the things that they do, like helping people with the charities and stuff. So that, yes, all of that is who she is as well. So she married him thinking she could also help to make more of a change.
That she can handle it. There's lots of people that have married the guy
came with
of their
other
dreams.
baggage that she wasn't expecting, and that's what she couldn't handle. And then she's been made out to be this person that she isn't. So all of that, I don't think it's necessarily that she's met him and then it's
there's a lot of addition, because the thing is you can read everything and just swear down that this time it'll be different from you, because a lot of women have married men that they know of their family, they know their family are difficult.
She shouldn't have gone in there blind.
It.
All I'm saying is that she, as blind as she did go into it, she shouldn't have gone into there blind. She should have, at least, I think she should have gone into there prepared to some degree.
I feel like
there's not everything that she can.
I don't think, because you go into a relationship because of the person you're trying to be with, not the family. Because you're married.
Some people do look at the family.
I get that he's Prince Harry, but if she's saying what she's saying and that's what she's saying, then who are we to say she shouldn't have done this, that, and the other?
No, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that this is what I'm not saying she should have done this or shouldn't have done that, or am I saying that? Maybe I am saying that. What? I completely hear what you're saying, because when we meet your partners, you're not Googling them and you're not finding anything. But really, the reality is, whether we like it or not, whether she likes it or not, she was just an actress, and put her profession aside, she's just a normal human being. She's a normal citizen. She can go where she wants. She can do what she likes. He is the prince. He could potentially be the future king. There is no way you or I, if we were back in Africa or Caribbean or whatever, and we were going to go out with someone of high prestige, you're not going to do some sort of check. You probably, and maybe we wouldn't, but I would like to think that if Prince Harry was available and he wanted to go out with me and I liked him, yeah. It was out May.
Who do you think you are?
I like him and I love him and I'm going to spend time with him, but it's the royal family. I'm
okay.
It's the royal family. You would have to do your due diligence. And she said it. The interview she had an interview when they were in, I can't remember where they went.
Australia?
I think it was Australia. And the interviewer said something to her and she said, my friends told me, but I didn't listen. I didn't understand until now. So when your friends are telling you stuff, yeah, I get it, for love, you don't want to listen. But let's just do some background checks. Let's just do a little thing. Okay, let me prepare myself for when they come and try and tell me, because you're black, you can't do anything. Let me then know how I can handle myself.
Happened, though. There's never been a black person in the royal family. Harry has always had his runs of being Harry. So I don't think she could have really, that would have been her determining of if she would stay with him.
Okay, the skin color is one thing. Skin color is one thing, but her being trapped, her being not being able.
Never that highlighted though, because even Diana didn't actually say all of that in public. She didn't. So that's
what I'm trying to say. Interview. She said,
but even still, you would think, no matter what, she thought it would be different for her. Like they kept saying, we'll support you. That's all she kept hearing. She thought, you know what? Again, you are right in the naive American thing, but she was blindsided by love. Like for her, no matter what was written on Wikipedia or any other page, it doesn't matter. What she sees is it's me and Harry. It's not anyone else's history. But as the thing started unraveling, she realized, okay, this is actually sounding like something that's happened before, and I'm not getting the support. And she got out in time. That's what I'm saying. That's the good thing about it. She got out in time by saying to him, I'm not happy. I need help. Like, I'm not happy. I'm having suicidal thoughts. And he did the right thing by saying, you know what? I need to do this, but do right by my wife and my child. She's lucky that she's got a man like that will do that. Not everyone got that type of man. So imagine if he said, you know what? You have to suck it up. I'm sorry. Can you imagine what would have happened to Meghan then? Would she have really left? Because you are trapped. Would she have actually left and just said, enough is enough? Like her mum may have said, you know what, I don't care, I'm coming to take my daughter. But again, exactly, she would have literally been trapped. And she knew the only way was to tell her husband how she felt. And if he decides, all right, let's go, she would have gone. And she did. Because if he had stayed, she would have probably stayed.
Well, I mean, it made for an interesting emotive, I guess. What's the word? Passionate,
Draining.
race baiting. Obviously, it's always going to be about race, but what can be a very draining episode. But I mean, these are our opinions. People shouldn't take offense to things that we've discussed and said. Like, these are just our views, just as everyone else is able to voice their opinions. But we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope you come back for next week.
See you later. Bye.
See ya. Bye.